fast, you could certainly get help. There's nothing wrong in that. But the reason I'm smiling is that it always makes me laugh when you read in the newspapers, or you hear on the way that, of course, there will have been, people would have been prepared for this.
Princess Anne, the Queen's most dedicated daughter, has made a move no one saw coming, leaving Edinburgh Castle for good. Staff are in tears, crowds are stunned, and the palace is in turmoil. After decades of tireless service and quiet loyalty, why did she suddenly step back? What secret is behind this emotional farewell? Today we reveal the untold story of Princess Anne's goodbye, and the shocking reason that has left the royal family reeling. Princess Anne, officially known as Anne Elizabeth Alice Louise, the Princess Royal, is one of the most active and dedicated members of the British royal family.
Using either the strengths of what they did before to deliver it slightly differently.
We sometimes at home talk about COVID as a thief, in that
Yes.
it stole from a lot of people. Did it steal from you?
In some respects. I suppose I tend to think it stole a bit from my father.
Born on the 15th of August 1950, she is the second child and only daughter of the late Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Over more than 5 decades of service, she has built a reputation for hard work, quiet commitment, and a steadfast sense of duty that few in public life can match. From a young age, Anne was surrounded by the responsibilities of royalty. She made her first official public engagement at the age of 18, opening an educational and training centre in Shropshire. This early start marked the beginning of a long life of public service that would see her visit communities at home and abroad, support charitable work, and represent the Crown on countless occasions. Over the course of her career, Princess Anne has become widely recognised as one of the hardest working royals. Year after year, she tops the lists of official engagements undertaken by members of the royal family. In 2024, for instance, she completed nearly 500 official engagements, more than any other senior member of the family, including her brother King Charles III. This tally included visits both in the United Kingdom and overseas, reflecting her willingness to travel and support a wide range of causes and institutions. These engagements are more than ceremonial appearances. They often involve meeting people in challenging circumstances, listening to their stories, and giving her time generously in support of causes that matter. Whether she is opening a new healthcare facility, attending a military parade, visiting schools, or standing alongside volunteers and charity workers, Anne is known for her professionalism and her genuine interest in the work of the people she meets. Central to her public life is her work with charities. Princess Anne is involved with more than 300 charities, organisations, and military regiments, a portfolio of commitments far broader than that of most public figures. She is engaged in fields as diverse as health and well-being, international development, education, disability services, and animal welfare. Her affiliations include long-standing roles with organisations such as Save the Children UK, where she served as president from 1970 to 2017 before becoming patron. Her association with Save the Children alone runs for more than half a century, a remarkable period of involvement that has taken her to project sites around the world. She has travelled to meet local staff, families, and children in countries across Africa and Asia, gaining a first-hand understanding of the challenges faced by communities in need. This deep commitment has earned global recognition for her efforts. Anne's approach to these engagements is distinguished not just by the number she completes, but by how she conducts them. She is widely noted for her no-nonsense style and her focus on the work rather than the publicity that can accompany it. She rarely seeks media attention, preferring instead to listen, observe, and engage directly with those she is supporting. This focus on substance over spectacle has earned her respect across a wide spectrum of society in both the United Kingdom and abroad. Charity work in the modern era often involves more than attending events. It means deep involvement in strategic decisions, advocacy, and personal support for the organisations and individuals involved. Princess Anne's work exemplifies this broader role. She has helped found charities, including the Princess Royal's Trust for Carers, now Carers Trust, TransAid, and Riders for Health, which address practical challenges such as transportation barriers in healthcare delivery and support for people who provide care for others. These initiatives speak to her practical, problem-solving approach to charitable involvement. Alongside her charity work, Anne's engagements often touch on the military. She holds honorary ranks and affiliations across several branches of the British Armed Forces and Commonwealth regiments. These duties involve attending military ceremonies, visiting service personnel and their families, and supporting service-related charities. This aspect of her role underlines the broad reach of her public service, extending from social causes to national defence and ceremonial duties. Another dimension of Princess Anne's public life has been her involvement in the world of sport. She is an accomplished equestrian, and in 1976 became the first member of the British royal family to compete in the Olympic Games, riding as part of the British equestrian team at Montreal. Her sporting achievements added an international dimension to her public profile and continue to inform her role in supporting sports organisations and young athletes. Despite the packed schedule, or perhaps because of it, Princess Anne is known for a distinctive work ethic that blends discipline with genuine care. Those who meet her often comment on her ability to remember names and details, to ask thoughtful questions, and to engage meaningfully with people from all walks of life. She shows up prepared and present, a quality that sets her apart in a world where many public figures struggle to balance attention to detail with the demands of a heavy schedule. Her commitment to service has been consistent even in difficult personal circumstances. Throughout her career, she has maintained a high level of official activity despite physical setbacks, including accidents related to her equestrian pursuits. She resumed her duties promptly and continued to lead royal engagement numbers, demonstrating resilience and determination in the face of challenges. It is also notable that Princess Anne's working style contrasts with the more media-oriented approach of some other members of the royal family. She rarely uses social media and does not draw attention to herself through carefully managed publicity. Instead, she lets her actions speak for her. This way of working reflects a belief that duty and service are ends in themselves, not means to personal recognition. Her personal life has also reflected these values. Unlike many of her royal relatives, she chose not to give her children royal titles, a decision intended to allow them more normal lives outside the intense scrutiny that often accompanies royal status. Her daughter Zara, for example, has forged a successful career in equestrian sport, winning medals at major events, while her son Peter has pursued his own professional interests. This blend of public service and personal discretion has earned Princess Anne respect from many observers, both within and outside the United Kingdom. She is seen as a stabilizing force within the modern monarchy, someone who honors tradition while remaining grounded in real-world concerns. Her work with charities, state institutions, and the armed forces positions her at the intersection of public life and civic responsibility. As debates about the role and future of the monarchy continue in British society and beyond, Princess Anne's long record of service stands as a powerful example of what sustained commitment to duty can look like. At a time when many public figures retreat from responsibility as they grow older, she has maintained a high level of engagement, with no public announcement of retirement or plans to scale back her commitments. Indeed, she has remarked in interviews that retiring from royal duties simply is not part of the role she has accepted. Princess Anne's departure from Edinburgh Castle marked a profound moment in her long career of service and public duty. For decades, the castle had been more than just a residence. It was a centre of work, engagement, and quiet reflection. It was where she spent countless hours attending to her official duties, meeting staff, and supporting the many charities and organisations that relied on her presence. Leaving it was not just a change of address, but a significant personal and professional shift. The castle had always been a place of routine and structure for Anne. She approached her days with a clear schedule, often starting early and following a series of engagements that balanced public appearances, administrative work, and time spent reflecting on her responsibilities. Her presence within the castle brought a sense of order and calm that staff and visitors alike had come to rely on. The departure disrupted that familiar rhythm, leaving both the staff and those around her adjusting to the absence of her steady guidance. Staff members who had worked with Princess Anne for many years spoke of her approachability, attentiveness, and the respect she showed to everyone, regardless of rank or role. She remembered personal details about the people she met, often recalling names, birthdays, or small anecdotes from previous conversations. This attentiveness was not merely polite, it reflected her belief that every individual mattered and that her role was to support and recognize the efforts of those around her. Her departure therefore created a palpable sense of loss among the team who had relied on her consistency, guidance, and personal engagement for decades. The farewell itself was emblematic of Anne's personality and working style. She did not stage a grand or ceremonial departure, nor did she make speeches or announcements. Her goodbye was quiet, thoughtful, and deliberate. She walked the castle grounds, visited offices and workspaces, and spoke privately with those who had been closest to her. These moments were small but deeply meaningful. She took time to acknowledge the work and contributions of staff members, leaving behind gifts and personal notes to express her gratitude. These notes were simple but heartfelt, often recalling personal details or shared memories, a reflection of her belief in the importance of personal connection, even in professional contexts. In her final days at Edinburgh Castle, Anne maintained her usual routine. She would rise early, take walks around the grounds, and spend time reflecting on her years of service within the walls of the castle. She visited every room, observing the spaces that had been central to her daily life. She spent time by the windows, looking out over the gardens, perhaps considering both the achievements of her career and the people she had worked with over the years. This methodical and reflective approach to her farewell demonstrated her deep respect for the castle as a working and living space, and for the individuals who had shared it with her. Her departure affected not only the staff but also the broader public and local communities. People who had interacted with her over the years, or who had witnessed her engagements from afar, noted the change in energy and atmosphere. Her presence had been a constant, stabilizing force, and without it, both the castle and the communities she served felt a subtle but significant shift. Her calm and consistent approach had created a sense of continuity, and its absence highlighted the scale of her impact on daily life and the operations of the royal household. The ripple effects of her departure extended into the wider royal family. Princess Anne had long been a source of support and advice within the family, known for her practical, no-nonsense approach to problem-solving and her ability to maintain balance amid periods of change or tension. King Charles, for example, relied on her steady presence and counsel during both public and private moments. Anne's absence from day-to-day activities meant that the family had to adjust to her not being immediately available for guidance, support, or mediation, altering the dynamics of their interactions and the management of royal duties. Her approach to saying goodbye was reflective of the philosophy that had guided her throughout her life, that actions and presence mattered more than public recognition or ceremony. The emphasis on small, meaningful gestures underscored her belief that relationships, both professional and personal, are strengthened through attention and care. By taking the time to acknowledge those around her, she left a lasting impression on those she interacted with, reinforcing a sense of loyalty, trust, and mutual respect that would continue beyond her departure. During her final interactions with staff, Princess Anne maintained the same professionalism and attention to detail she had displayed throughout her career. She held private conversations, shared memories, and expressed her gratitude personally, allowing each interaction to carry significance. Her choice to leave quietly, without fanfare, reflected her enduring preference for substance over spectacle. While others might have chosen a public celebration or ceremony, she demonstrated that the essence of leadership and service lies in consistency, respect, and thoughtful attention to the people who support you. The emotional impact of her departure was evident. Some staff members were visibly moved, experiencing tears and quiet moments of reflection. Many felt that they were saying goodbye, not just to a colleague or superior, but to someone who had been a steady and reassuring presence in their daily lives. The loss of such a stabilizing figure, even for those outside the royal family, highlighted the depth of her influence. It also served as a reminder of the ways in which leadership can be quietly transformative, shaping work environments and personal interactions in ways that are both subtle and profound. Anne's departure also highlighted her commitment to duty and service over personal comfort or recognition. Even in leaving a place she had known for many years, she continued to engage thoughtfully and responsibly with those around her. Her focus was not on personal sentiment or nostalgia, but on ensuring that her absence would be managed with care and consideration for others. This approach reinforced the values that had defined her public life: loyalty, responsibility, and an unwavering commitment to doing what was right, rather than what was easy or publicly celebrated. The broader implications of her departure were significant. Within the royal household, her absence created the need for adjustments in scheduling, responsibilities, and daily routines. Her reliability and diligence had set a high standard, and without her presence, colleagues needed to adapt to new ways of managing duties. This transition period, while manageable, underscored how much the organisation had relied on her competence, discretion, and steady leadership. For the public, Anne's quiet departure was a reminder of the human dimension of royalty. Beyond the ceremonial duties, public appearances, and media coverage, the royal family functions as a complex organisation, and the contributions of individuals like Princess Anne shape its effectiveness and stability. Her departure from Edinburgh Castle illuminated the ways in which her work, often conducted behind the scenes, had sustained the operational and personal well-being of the household for decades. Her farewell was not defined by a single event, but by the accumulation of many small, thoughtful acts. She engaged with staff members individually, took time to revisit spaces where she had spent years, and ensured that her appreciation for those around her was clearly communicated. These acts reflected a philosophy that has defined her career. Leadership is measured not by recognition, but by consistency, respect, and the quality of one's actions. In leaving Edinburgh Castle, Princess Anne also set an example of how to conclude a significant chapter in life and work. She demonstrated that goodbyes need not be dramatic or public to be meaningful. Through her measured, considerate, and reflective approach, she communicated respect, gratitude, and thoughtfulness. Her departure became a lesson in dignity and professionalism, leaving behind a legacy of calm and attentive service that continues to influence those who knew her and worked with her. Her quiet departure contrasted with the often highly publicized events associated with the royal family, but in many ways it was more impactful precisely because it reflected her enduring commitment to substance over appearance. She showed that influence and leadership are often exercised not through spectacle or announcements, but through consistent presence, attentiveness to detail, and a thoughtful approach to relationships. When a long chapter of public life comes to an end, people often look for reasons, explanations, or clues that help make sense of what happened. In the case of Princess Anne, her departure from Edinburgh Castle was sudden in public perception, and yet the decisions that led to that moment had been shaped by years of thought, reflection, and deep personal conviction. In the days after she left, staff and close aides discovered something that offered a rare and private window into her thinking. A simple envelope left on the desk of her private secretary became the key to understanding not only part of her motivations, but also the depth of her commitment to her principles. The envelope was unremarkable at first glance. It bore only the name of the recipient, written in Anne's neat handwriting, without royal seal, title, or fanfare. Inside was a short note from Anne and a small key. The note directed her private secretary to open a specific drawer in her personal study, a drawer that had remained locked for years and had only ever been used by Anne. The instruction was straightforward, but the anticipation it generated was anything but ordinary. When the key unlocked the drawer, what lay inside revealed a side of Princess Anne few had ever seen. In the drawer was a leather-bound journal, its cover soft and worn from years of handling. For decades, Anne had kept this journal close, writing her thoughts in longhand during quiet moments before meetings, after engagements, and late at night when the day's work was done. Some staff had seen the journal from afar, a familiar book sitting on her desk beside her teacup or her official papers, but no one had ever touched it or been invited to read it. It was private in the truest sense. What emerged from its pages was not a diary of events or a chronology of engagements, but a deeply personal record of thoughts, reflections, and the emotional landscape that accompanied a life of public service. The entries in the journal were calm, considered, and often reflective. They spoke of travels, meetings with people from all walks of life, and moments of pride in the work she had been able to do on their behalf. They also revealed the emotional weight of long years of service, the late nights, the early mornings, the decisions made quietly away from the public eye, and the internal questions about the direction of the institution she had served so faithfully. One line in the journal stood out above the rest. "The day everything changed, I knew I had to step away." Those words, concise and measured, hinted at a deeper shift in her perspective, one that was both personal and principled. As the journal continued, it became clear that Anne had been grappling privately with how the role of the monarchy was evolving, and how that evolution aligned, or did not align, with her understanding of duty, purpose, and service. She did not name individuals or assign blame. Instead, she wrote about growing concerns over a shift in emphasis within the institution. The changes were not sudden, but incremental, marked by meetings that focused more on public image than on substantive work, by decisions that seemed driven by perception rather than principle. Over time, these developments made her feel increasingly out of place in a world where her core belief had always been that service was about impact, not attention. In her journal, Anne reflected on moments that had tested her personally. She wrote about long days meeting people in need, sitting with families facing hardship, and attending events where the challenges she encountered stayed with her long after the crowds had dispersed. She wrote about the satisfaction of quiet progress, of initiatives that made real differences in people's lives without fanfare. And she wrote about a growing unease as priorities around her seemed to shift toward ideas of popularity, influence, and curated public narratives rather than tangible service and duty. Through the pages of the journal, it was evident that the idea of stepping back had not been a sudden one. It had been considered over years, discussed inwardly in long evenings of reflection, and tested against her fundamental belief in what it meant to serve faithfully. She acknowledged the pride she felt in her long record of work, but also recognized that the life she had led, which had been sustainable for decades, was feeling less aligned with the institution's trajectory. Despite her internal struggle, there was no bitterness or resentment in her writing. Her language was measured, thoughtful, and candid without ever being disparaging. She spoke kindly of the people she had worked with, including staff who had remained loyal, supportive, and dedicated. She spoke of the satisfaction of meaningful engagement with charities, communities, and causes that shaped her sense of purpose. She wrote about her belief that service should be driven by need rather than recognition, and that a life of duty was most fulfilling when it was grounded in substantive work that improved the lives of others. At the heart of the journal's later entries was a sense of quiet sadness, not for the end of her career, but for the feeling that the institution she loved was drifting away from the values that had defined it for her. She did not reject change entirely. She acknowledged that every institution must evolve. Her concern, however, was that the evolution seemed to prioritize perception over substance, status over service, and visibility over impact. These concerns did not lead to anger, but to introspection, and ultimately to the difficult decision to step back. Only a handful of people read the journal after the envelope was discovered. Those who did said it changed their understanding of Anne's departure. What had appeared to many as sudden was, in reality, the result of years of thoughtful consideration and quiet internal deliberation. The journal revealed a woman who had wrestled with her role, balanced her sense of duty with growing personal dissonance, and ultimately chose to act in a way that was consistent with her values, even if it meant withdrawal from public life. But even as the journal provided deep insights, it was not the only private document that would shape the narrative of her departure. Another discovery, equally significant but more personal, emerged around the same time, a letter written to her by her mother, the late Queen Elizabeth II. This letter had been kept private for years, held in a special box in the Queen's own study, and known to only a very small circle of trusted aides. After the Queen's passing, the letter was entrusted to Princess Anne by a loyal staff member who had served both mother and daughter over many years. The envelope containing the letter was simple, marked only with the words "for an only," a phrase that reflected the intimate bond between mother and daughter. There was no announcement, no formal presentation, and no public acknowledgement. It was entirely private, a message from one sovereign to her daughter, a woman who had carried out her duties with tireless commitment for decades. The content of the letter was heartfelt and written in the Queen's distinctive, careful handwriting. It was not a statement of policy or royal instruction, but rather a mother's reflections on life, duty, and the future of the family and institution they both served. In her letter, Queen Elizabeth spoke of her hopes for the monarchy, her belief in the importance of service, and her deep trust in Anne's judgment and integrity. She spoke of moments of doubt, of the weight of responsibility that came with public life, and of the necessity of remaining true to one's core values amid changing circumstances. The Queen's words resonated deeply with Anne, not because they commanded obedience, but because they reflected a shared understanding of duty that had guided both women throughout their lives. The letter served as both affirmation and challenge. Affirmation of Anne's lifelong commitment to duty, and challenge in the sense that it reminded her of the values she held most dear, even when the wider world seemed to shift away from them. Anne chose to keep the letter close, rather than share it publicly. She placed it in her study beside her journal, often reading it in quiet moments, sometimes late at night with a cup of tea in hand. To those who witnessed these moments, it was clear that the letter was a source of comfort, reflection, and strength. It was not a directive, but a source of grounding, a reminder of the values that had shaped both her mother's reign and her own career of service. The combination of the journal and the Queen's private letter helped explain not just why Anne had decided to step back from public life, but how she arrived at that decision. Her choice was not impulsive or reactive, but deeply considered, rooted in a lifetime of reflection on what it means to serve with integrity. The journal captured her internal dialogue, her concerns about the direction of the institution, and her desire for peace and purpose. The Queen's letter reinforced the enduring values that had guided both their lives: duty, humility, and service to others without seeking personal acclaim. What emerges from these private documents is a portrait of a royal figure who understood her role not as a platform for attention or influence, but as a responsibility to be carried out with care, conviction, and quiet determination. Her departure from Edinburgh Castle was not an abandonment of duty, but a redefinition of it on her own terms. She stepped back not because she no longer believed in service, but because she believed that service must remain true to its deepest purpose. These insights brought new understanding to those who had known her, work only in public. They revealed a woman of thoughtfulness, reflection, and unwavering dedication to principles that went beyond public perception. In reading her journal and understanding the significance of the Queen's letter, her private secretary and other close aides came to see her departure not as an end, but as a continuation of a life lived according to deeply held values. Values that shaped her choices, her conduct, and the legacy she leaves behind. In the end, Princess Anne's private reflections and the personal words of her mother showed that even in a life lived largely in public view, there are inner worlds of thought, conviction, and quiet resolve that remain unseen. These internal landscapes, captured in her journal and shaped by the Queen's letter, shed light on a decision that was as thoughtful as it was significant, and as personal as it was principled. And they remind us that the motivations behind public lives often run deeper than appearances suggest, rooted in values that guide long before they are ever shared. Princess Anne's career in public service has been marked by extraordinary dedication, discipline, and a commitment to duty that few in the modern royal family have matched. Throughout her life, she has maintained a consistent presence in public life, attending hundreds of engagements annually and supporting more than 300 charities, organizations, and military regiments. Her approach has always been characterized by professionalism, thoughtfulness, and an emphasis on meaningful action rather than publicity. This commitment to service, however, has existed alongside a careful attention to her own principles and values, which has influenced many of her decisions and shaped her legacy. Even as the royal family continues to evolve and adapt to changing societal expectations, Princess Anne's contributions remain a benchmark for dedication and stability. Her legacy is defined not only by the sheer volume of engagements she has undertaken, but also by the quality and consistency of her work. She has long been respected for her ability to balance ceremonial responsibilities with practical involvement, whether in charitable projects, military engagements, or international representation. This balance reflects a deeply held belief that the role of a royal is to serve, rather than to seek recognition or personal advantage. One of the defining features of Anne's career has been her work with children and vulnerable communities. She has supported organizations like Save the Children for decades, undertaking visits to locations in Africa, Asia, and the United Kingdom. These visits were often hands-on, involving conversations with local staff, meetings with families, and first-hand observation of the challenges faced by the communities she visited. She has demonstrated a willingness to engage with difficult circumstances, providing attention, support, and advocacy where it was needed most. Her approach has been consistent, reflecting a belief that long-term, steady involvement is more impactful than occasional or highly publicized appearances. Her commitment to charity work has also included leadership roles and initiatives aimed at addressing practical challenges. Organisations such as the Princess Royal's Trust for Carers, now Carers Trust, and Riders for Health, which focuses on healthcare transportation, reflect her interest in creating solutions that address real-world problems. These efforts demonstrate that her service is not limited to ceremonial duties, but extends to initiatives with measurable outcomes and lasting impact. Staff and colleagues who have worked alongside her often highlight her meticulous attention to detail and her focus on ensuring that projects and engagements are meaningful, effective, and sustainable. Alongside charitable work, Princess Anne has long been involved in military and ceremonial duties. She holds honorary positions and affiliations across multiple branches of the British Armed Forces and Commonwealth regiments. These duties involve attending ceremonial events, visiting service personnel, and supporting military charities. Her consistent presence and engagement have reinforced the connection between the monarchy and the armed forces, emphasising respect, tradition, and service. Anne's approach to these responsibilities has been marked by seriousness and professionalism, earning her respect from military personnel and colleagues alike. Princess Anne's commitment to public service is matched by her personal approach to family and parenting. She made deliberate choices regarding the upbringing of her children, Peter Phillips and Zara Tyndall, choosing not to grant them royal titles. This decision reflected her desire to provide them with as normal a life as possible, free from the intense scrutiny that often accompanies royal status. Both Peter and Zara have pursued careers and personal lives largely outside the public eye, while still maintaining their connection to the royal family. Zara, in particular, has followed her mother's passion for equestrian sports, achieving significant success as a competitive rider and Olympian. This approach to family life reflects Anne's broader philosophy of service and responsibility, that personal values and thoughtful decision-making should guide actions, even amid public pressures. Despite her long-standing commitment to duty, Princess Anne has faced challenges within the royal family. Changes in the family's dynamics, including the evolving role of other members, have at times tested her ability to balance personal convictions with family obligations. One such challenge was the changing place of Camilla, Queen Consort, within the royal family. While Anne has always maintained a respectful and professional approach, observers have noted that she has at times kept a careful distance, following protocol without seeking closeness or public approval. Her actions in these contexts reflect a consistent adherence to her principles, valuing integrity and loyalty over personal preference or public perception. Anne's approach to these internal family dynamics underscores her belief in the importance of continuity and stability. She has often acted as a quiet, stabilizing force within the family, providing counsel and support when needed, and serving as a reminder of the long-term responsibilities associated with royal life. Her calm, practical, and principled approach has helped guide the family through periods of transition, including changes in leadership, public scrutiny, and evolving public expectations. She has consistently demonstrated the ability to balance tradition with the need for careful adaptation, offering a model of measured leadership. The departure from Edinburgh Castle and her decision to step back from day-to-day public duties has generated reflection on the long-term significance of her contributions. While some may have perceived her exit as a sudden change, the reality is that it was the result of decades of careful thought and service. Anne's private journal and the personal letter from her late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, revealed the deliberation and principle behind her decision. The journal documented her reflections on duty, service, and the shifting priorities of the royal household, while the Queen's letter provided guidance, reassurance, and a reminder of the values that had long guided both women. Together, these documents offer insight into the depth of her commitment and the care with which she approached the transition. Her choice to step back also highlights the importance of self-awareness and sustainability in public service. Anne recognized that her ability to continue contributing effectively depended on maintaining alignment between her personal values and her public role. By stepping back, she ensured that she could preserve her principles, continue her private engagements, and maintain her influence in ways that were meaningful to her rather than compromising her integrity or effectiveness. This decision reflects a level of foresight and personal discipline that has been a hallmark of her career. Even in stepping back, Princess Anne's influence remains evident. The institutions and charities she has supported continue to benefit from her long-standing involvement and the standards she set. The practices she established, the relationships she built, and the example she provided for younger royals and staff continue to shape the way engagements are conducted and how service is approached. Her legacy is therefore both tangible and symbolic. Tangible in the work completed and the institution strengthened, and symbolic in the example she set for responsible, principled, and consistent public service. Public perception of Princess Anne reflects this dual legacy. While she has often been described as less publicly flamboyant than some of her relatives, she is widely admired for her work ethic, dedication, and focus on substance over publicity. Her contributions have earned respect across generations, from colleagues and staff to members of the public who have witnessed her engagements. This respect is rooted in the consistency of her approach, the seriousness with which she undertakes her responsibilities, and the quiet authority with which she leads by example. Her influence extends beyond the immediate royal family and charitable circles. By demonstrating that public service can be effective without constant publicity, Anne has set a standard for responsible engagement in public life. She has shown that leadership is measured not by appearances or media coverage, but by commitment, reliability, and the ability to make a tangible difference. Her example continues to resonate in conversations about the role of the monarchy, the responsibilities of public figures, and the importance of principled leadership. Even as new generations assume greater prominence in the royal family, Princess Anne's contributions serve as a stabilizing reference point. Her commitment to duty, her focus on practical outcomes, and her careful management of family and professional responsibilities provide a model for how royal life can be conducted with integrity. Her decision to step back, though significant, does not diminish her impact. Instead, it reflects a thoughtful transition, allowing her to maintain influence and uphold her values while making space for others to take on responsibilities. In conclusion, Princess Anne's legacy is remarkable for its combination of longevity, consistency, and principled action. Her work with charities, the military, and public institutions, alongside her careful attention to family and personal integrity, represents one of the most dedicated careers in modern British royal history. Even as she steps back from daily duties, her influence endures through the institutions she has supported, the relationships she has built, and the example she has set for service, grounded in integrity and care. Her quiet, steady approach to duty remains a benchmark for leadership, demonstrating that public service is most powerful when guided by principle, thoughtfulness, and sustained commitment over time. Princess Anne's story is ultimately one of service, reflection, and integrity. Her departure from day-to-day public life does not mark the end of her influence. Rather, it is a continuation of her lifelong dedication to service, conducted in a manner that aligns with her values and preserves the principles that have guided her through decades of public engagement. In a world often focused on visibility and immediate impact, her career demonstrates the enduring power of steady, principled action and the quiet but profound legacy that such a life can leave behind.